From the New Arts and Media Studios in Milwaukee, I'm Charles Purcell. This is The Log, with some thoughts on the news, on the world we live in, from an abolitionist, anarchist point of view. Start with COP30, which ended with a whimper. The annual climate conference ended over the weekend with a compromise climate deal. Would boost finance for poor nations coping with global warming, but the deal omitted any mention of the fossil fuels driving the climate crisis. That's the compromise. So in other words, nothing. We've had agreements before. There are already agreements standing that there would be financial assistance for poor nations. And it's not working. And rich nations, especially the United States, are ignoring these agreements. So I've pretty much given up. I've given up on the whole annual COP idea, the Conference of Parties. We've got to find a different way to do this. We have to eliminate the lobbyists entirely. For that matter, I'm just going to say it. I'm out until we have some sort of gathering that denounces profit and denounces borders. That's the only world gathering that's ever going to work. A gathering of people, of, by, and for the people. We got to take that notion, that concept, global. As long as the current system of profit and borders of nation states, as long as that system survives, there will never be progress. And we'll just slide into that increased global temperatures, increased warming of the oceans, sea rise. Yeah, I don't see it. This experience, it just has to radicalize more people. Enough people to finally just say, no, enough is enough. I no longer recognize nation states. I don't recognize borders. I don't recognize money as a concept. I don't recognize profit as a concept. I don't recognize exchange, whether local or global. I only recognize cooperation. I only recognize mutual aid. I only recognize shared use of resources. I only recognize small d democracy. We are on a rapid pace to self-destruction as a species. And we're going to take a couple of hundred species with us as we go. Anybody who still thinks that we can spend our way out of these problems, that we can regulate our way out of these problems, that we can negotiate our way out of these problems without a complete overhaul of the way we do business, you just, you're fooling yourself or you're lying. I mean, listen to some of this language here. I'm reading from Reuters. The summit launches a voluntary initiative to speed up climate action, to help nations meet their existing pledges, which they're already not meeting, to reduce emissions. Oh, we want to reduce emissions, okay. And calls for rich nations. Why are there rich and poor nations in the first place? Why is that even acceptable? Calls for rich nations to at least triple the amount of money. So 3 times 0 is what? To at least triple the amount of money they provide to help developing countries adapt to a warming world by 2035. So we've given up, the world is warming. Okay, so we'll help the poor countries adapt. Oh, sometime in the next 10 years, we'll get back to you. Good Lord, come on. No, the fact that there are rich countries and poor countries is just an unacceptable state of affairs. The people of this world just have to get together. We have to turn our backs on so-called leaders. We have to turn our backs on so-called owners. The resources of this world belong to the people of this world. Yeah. My anarchist flag is flying very high today. Please look at me with a straight face and tell me you think that our current rules, laws, customs, agreements that our current world order of nation states with borders that keep people in and keep people out, that keep some nations rich and some nations poor, because the whole global economic system is based on exploitation and profit. Look at me in the face and tell me you think that that world, that way of doing things, that world order, within that scheme, we can reverse the climate crisis. Or, for that matter, we can solve any problem. It's become just comically absurd. Yeah, I'm a full-fledged 100% anarchist today and forever going forward. This is just ridiculous. So COP30 ends in just with abysmal failure. And I'm not even going to bother even talking about it or following it next year. I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, we need an anarchist revolution. And I'm not talking violence. I'm talking everyone just turn your back. Everyone shun the system. Take what you need, give what you can. Period. That's all. They can't arrest all of us. They can't shoot all of us. I'm calling on everyone within the sound of my voice to just shut it down. Take what you need, give what you can. Period. That's the full extent of our Constitution. Borders are gone, money is gone, resources are plentiful. There's enough for everybody. Give what you can, take what you need. Done. Well, speaking of which, the mass blackout, the People's Sick Day, the Big Beautiful Boycott, all happening. I'm dropping this episode on the 24th. The official dates are November 25th through December 2nd. So it includes Black Friday. It includes Cyber Monday. No spending, no streaming, no restaurants, no travel, no work. Stay home. If you absolutely have to spend, please use cash at small businesses. If you want information or inspiration, go to bigbeautifulboycott.us, indivisible.org, search for the People's Sick Day, Nationwide People's Sick Day, or blackoutthesystem.com. Now me, I've made this pretty much just my permanent lifestyle. It's been my religion, for lack of a better word, for really most of my adult life. I only buy what I need. I try to avoid, wherever possible, buying from corporations. I don't pay for streaming. I just don't give them my money. I've made it my practice over the years not to work for large corporations. I work for local interests, for nonprofits, for state, local government. That's been my avowed lifestyle, like I said, pretty much my whole adult life. That's just what I believe. Money, profit, consumerism gets you nothing. It just promotes exploitation. It promotes overconsumption. And I never wanted to be any part of it. So I've tried my best. And I don't see any other future. Okay, so the boycott happening now, I encourage you to make it a permanent boycott. Permanent as in forever. Let's just find a whole other way to do things. All right, in more mundane headlines, the Orange Menace continues to have a really bad, well, he's had a couple bad weeks here. He's had a bad month. Here's my particular take. I think, as always, we're fetishizing the presidency. We're making it all about him. We're making it all about that office. And now people are already talking about the 2028 election. That conversation's already begun. Yeah. The presidency itself is fatally flawed. The fact that one person would have that much power over decision-making in a nation. So, while I'm on my kick today, well, it's not just a kick. It's... I just don't talk about it every week. I don't talk about it every episode. But yeah, I'm feeling especially anarchic today. I'm done with borders. I'm done with money. I'm done with kings and sheiks and oligarchs. I'm done with senators and representatives. And I'm especially done with presidents. Nobody complains about the guy. Well, that's not true. Plenty of people complain about the guy more than I do. People are obsessed with him. Nobody thinks less of him than I do. But he's the orange meat puppet. Stephen Miller and Russell Vogt are running the regime. The oligarchs are running everything else. And the long game is still in place for the so-called right wing. Even with all of these headline losses that he's taking, American rot is still a slow-rolling emergency. And it's just incredible to think of all the issues and problems and challenges that we face that are just stuck in a drawer and forgotten about, while we sort of maniacally fixate on this absurd orange creature, this freak, and somehow get it into our heads that every win and loss that he enjoys or suffers somehow matters in the long run. When women's rights are still basically non-existent in half the states of this country. When AI and robotics are looming over us like a meteor about to hit the earth and nobody seems to be looking up. The way we do elections, the way we do government, completely, utterly broken. And most of it having to do with money. Take away the money, take away most of the problems. Take away the bribes, take away the insider trading, take away the massive fundraising that has to be done, the corruption inherent in such a system. Do people suffer from drug addiction? Of course they do. And what are we doing about it? We're murdering people off the coast of South America. Nothing makes any sense right now. Everybody's yelling about affordability. Who in the world has a plan to raise wages and to reduce costs? Show me the plan. Here's my plan. Everybody get up tomorrow morning and decide in their own mind that money no longer exists. It's not a thing. I'm going to go to the store and take what I need. And whatever kind of job or work occupies my life, I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to give away whatever I create for the good of my neighbors. I'm just going to take what I need and I'm going to give what I have. That's my solution. It doesn't mean we can't organize. It doesn't mean we can't make collective decisions. It doesn't mean we can't have a small d democracy. It doesn't mean we can't cooperate. All it means is that however we do organize, we don't base it on money. We don't base it on profit. We don't base it on borders that keep people in and out. We allow people freedom of movement, a basic human right, the single most basic human right. If I have to spend the rest of my life doing it, I'm going to try to convince you that this is the only way for us to survive on this planet. Get rid of money, get rid of borders, get rid of 98% of all laws, rules, and regulations, because we won't need them. We'll just need very basic agreements, all based on cooperation and small d democracy. I don't know exactly what that looks like. Nobody knows. No single person, no single group can invent a system. That's not how things work. That's not how nature works. That's not how humans work. That's not how reality works. We still don't have universal health care. Here, you know what? If you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. If you want to be a nurse, and then help people. If you want to be a scientist, if you want to be a researcher who looks for the cures for diseases or who develops new drugs or treatments, then go do it. Just go do it, because there's no money anymore. It doesn't exist. There's still medical schools. There's still knowledge. Why would anyone need the incentive of money to become a healer, to learn the very best methods and practices? There's plenty for us to do. We still need teachers and students and doctors and nurses and caregivers. And I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for some grand revolution. No, I'm going to start right on my street, right on my block, right in my community. Elon Musk made some news this week. He was at some big investment forum. And he said that AI and robotics will eventually make money irrelevant and will make work optional. Those are his words. Money will be irrelevant, work will be optional. In this case, I agree with Elon Musk. Why in the world would you want to do a job that AI or a robot could do better? Well, and this is an example that Musk uses, again, that I agree with. He compared future employment to recreational gardening. So automated systems will be 1,000,000 times more efficient at growing and distributing our food. But you still want to have a garden in your backyard. Yeah, makes total sense. I think that's the perfect analogy. On this, Elon Musk and I agree entirely. If you want to be a furniture maker, be a furniture maker, even though automated systems can do it better. It'll be a beautiful experience. And forgive me if I think I've said this before on the program, but I'll repeat it because I think it's a good thought. Imagine the pure human joy of making a finely crafted rocking chair and giving it as a gift to your grandmother. Even though automated systems could do it more efficiently, maybe even do it better. But now you've got a beautiful, handcrafted rocking chair made with love. There's value in that. There's tremendous value in that. And you can extend that to virtually every endeavor. You can make things, you can build things, you can grow things, you can create art and music, all of the things that AI thinks it can do better, and maybe it can. Who cares? You do it. Because it's beautiful. And the idea that you have to do anything in order to justify your right to eat, your right to live, that whole concept is just gone forever. See, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about anarchism. And I know all the isms, people get all scared and weirded out. I'm talking about no money, no borders, do what you want, give what you can, take what you need. Love each other, care for each other, contribute to the well-being of the community. Do this on a global scale. Not only is this the best possible outcome, to me it's the only possible outcome. Because I do agree with Elon Musk. AI and robotics will eventually make money irrelevant. It'll do the job for us. We don't have to decide. It withers away as a result of its own irrelevancy. It has no purpose. And when money has no purpose, it disappears, quite literally, from the earth and from our minds. When work is optional, it becomes voluntary and it becomes enjoyable. All right, let's return again to the world we live in today, because I have a couple of things to say about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who resigned from Congress or has announced her resignation as of January 5th. She has another year to go, but she's just going to call it quits because boo-hoo, she's not getting along with her party. You got a year to go. Your constituents voted for you. Do your job. A typical member of the U.S. House of Representatives has an average staff size of about 15 full-time workers. So you just put 15 families on the street. Sorry. What are you doing? Giving them zero notice. Yeah, enjoy the holidays and don't bother coming back because you're out of a job. Marjorie Taylor Greene, good Lord. If you've been following this at all, her big journey over the last couple of months, she hasn't gotten any smarter. She hasn't gotten any less selfish. Yeah, just going to leave her constituents who voted for her and the rest of the people in her district who didn't vote for her, all of them, unrepresented. Sorry, you don't have any representation in Congress for at least a couple of months until we can get a new special election up and get that person sworn in. That special election that they'll have to conduct in Georgia is going to cost a couple of $1 million of taxpayer money. Yeah, sorry. You could stay until the election was over. You could stay until the new person comes to take over. But no. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene Don't buy any of this BS about her having any kind of a transformation or redemption. She's as big of a punk as she ever was. Also, in the world as we currently live in it, the latest United States plan for the end of the war in Ukraine is to give Putin everything he wants, is to reward him for attacking a sovereign nation and committing countless war crimes. Yeah, it gives him the entire Donbass region of Ukraine. It even gives him land that they have not seized in battle. It puts the kibosh on any NATO representation for Ukraine. It just gives Putin everything he wants. It's a joke. So the brilliant Steve Witkoff, the Trump buddy, real estate developer with zero experience in world diplomacy, he worked out the details over the last couple weeks. And I don't know what Putin and Russia have on the orange meat puppet as far as compromising information. Yeah, they got the dirt on this guy. They've been able to manipulate him, to blackmail him for years. It's obvious. I don't know what it is, but they got something. Speaking of the orange meat puppet, he made headlines this week because he suggested that 6 members of Congress be put to death. Yeah. You've heard the news, I'm sure. They made a little video reminding their fellow military veterans, because they're all veterans of either the military or the intelligence agencies, reminding them that unlawful orders are not to be followed, reminding them that they are protected by the law. You do not have to. In fact, you are compelled not to follow illegal orders. You know, like shooting protesters in the leg, which he wanted to do in his first term. You know, like murdering unknown civilians in small boats off the coast of Venezuela. You know, things like that. There's nothing hypothetical about it. And he called their little video seditious, reminded everyone in his little tweets that that is punishable by death. He retweeted one of his followers who said, "Hang them, George Washington would." Yeah, he's insane. And Miller invoked, the 2 co-dictators of the Miller-voked regime, they don't care. They're fine with it. They're just fine with it. He's happy, spewing his bile all across the internet and the television airwaves. Speaking of happy, this is weird. I've never seen him, ever, once, look genuinely happy. Except maybe in that video clip we keep seeing of him and Jeffrey Epstein, where he's whispering sweet nothings into his ear and they're laughing and he's punching him on the arm. It's getting very touchy. That might be the only example of where I've ever seen him smile and look happy. I've never seen it. I mean, he smirks, he mocks, he does smile, but always in a kind of a sinister, mocking, smirking kind of a way. But this last week, we saw it twice. We saw him be genuinely happy, with a big toothy smile, even laughing. First with MBS, the butcher, the murderer from Saudi Arabia, who they had a big old fancy state dinner for. Yeah, holding his hand. He gets real touchy. Laughing, smiling. He just looked genuinely joyful with him. And then a couple days later, with, of all people, Zoran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York. Laughing, smiling, beaming. I've never seen him like this. He's reverting, I think, even more into his narcissistic sort of toddler persona. He just wants to be, you almost got to feel sorry for the guy. In his decline into dementia, he just wants to be loved. That's all he's ever wanted. And the days in between MBS and Mamdani, that's when he's calling for the death, the execution of members of Congress. So he's just, I've never been one to jump on the whole bandwagon of, oh, he's crazy, he's losing his mind, it's dementia. But I tell you what, make room on the bandwagon for me. The guy's just losing it. You can take it back to, I don't know, a week or two ago. I forget when it was, not that long ago. He gave that speech at that big McDonald's get-together. That was nuts. I think the whole Epstein thing has triggered him. I don't know, but man, he's a gone daddy. And the Miller-Vogt regime and the oligarchs and J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and the people who are really operating Oz behind the scenes here could care less. I mean, they're certainly aware of it. They're adjusting their plans accordingly. And it's impossible to believe that the calculations are not in full swing. And it might well be the reason that every single Republican senator and all but one Republican House member voted for the Epstein file release. It may well be that this is why Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to a plan B. And I'll close with how I opened. We're fetishizing the presidency. We're ignoring all the players behind the curtain, and we're all fixated on the great and grand Wizard of Oz. We have to stop fixating on him. We have to stop fetishizing the presidency. We have to try to understand the world as it is. And we, the people, have to keep our priorities straight on things like the climate, AI and robotics, women's rights, the economy, education, and ultimately the very way we govern ourselves. And especially our short-sighted, blind devotion and unquestioning acceptance of the world order. Nation states, neoliberal governments, authoritarian governments, borders, money. We've got to let that all go. A world of, by, and for the people. We've all been ushered into some colossal madhouse, a carnival funhouse, a hall of terror. We're all sitting chained in Plato's cave on steroids, a hall of mirrors. But that's all it is. It's a big old carnival attraction, and we've been fooled into thinking it's the real world. It's not. You know what's real? We are real. The trees, the mountains, the lakes, the rivers, the birds, the bees, the children. That's what's real. We don't need their fun house. We don't need their carnival attraction. No, we need to escape. We need to escape while there's still time. All right. Well, sorry if I got a little too extreme for you today, but I don't know, man. Things are just way too weird right now. That's where I am. All right. I hope you've joined the Big Beautiful Boycott. Go to blackoutthesystem.com for information and inspiration. This episode and all episodes can be heard on your favorite podcast platform, on the website charlesburcell.com. Follow us on Blue Sky and Substack. Thanks to our home radio station, River West Radio in Milwaukee. Peter Donalds wrote and performed our theme song. All right, I love you. I'll see you out there.